Scottie Resources, we're a junior mining exploration company located up in BC's Golden Triangle. Been operating as Scottie Resources for the past 5 years and had tremendous success with the drill bit over that period of time. It's a high-grade gold system. We're in an area of a lot of infrastructure. We're sandwiched between two mills, so we're between the Brucejack mine, which is Newmont's latest mine that they just purchased from Newcrest, and then we've got SCOT Resources to the south, which is supposed to turn on their mill over the next few months. Yeah, so we continue to drill Blueberry pretty aggressively. We just finished a 20,000 meter program this past season. The last drill results that we put out were, I think, about 7.9 grams a ton over 13 meters, which is, one of our nicer intercepts for that area, but consistent with the other grades that we've been reporting as well. So we've been stepping it out along strike. We're at about 1.5 kilometers in strike length, and then we've drilled it down over a 525 meters depth as well. Yeah, so the area has a lot of different mineralized bodies, and the more we drill, the more we discover. Now, the C and D was a known vein that occurs at surface. It's a little bit off of the Blueberry contact zone. It's a few hundred meters off the contact, so it's entirely hosted in the andesite. Most of our deposit at Blueberry is between an andesite and a siltstone, but the past producing Scottie Gold Mine is all in the andesite. So C and D, what we're seeing is more similar to what we see at Scottie. But I mean, fantastic grades, 30 grams a ton over, I think 5 meters was the results that we put out just very recently. So that really complements Blueberry because it's, a few hundred meters away from that. It would be all part of the same mineralizing system. So the Golden Triangle is very difficult for infrastructure. That's what drives the huge capital costs for a lot of these major projects in the area. And we have the advantage of being one of the second generation projects that's going ahead in the Golden Triangle. So we are a past producing mine. So the mine infrastructure is largely all in place. It's a road accessible deposit. So there's an hour drive from the north of Stewart, BC to get to the project itself. So your road access, which is one of the major impediments and hurdles that you have to overcome. The next thing you look at is power. So the Brucejack power line that feeds the Brucejack mine goes within a kilometer of our property boundary up along the side. And that's a hydro project power line. So it's one of the greener sources of the energy, and it's got accessible power for our project from that. In addition, we've got the town of Stewart that's, a place for mining infrastructure. It's also got a deep sea shipping port. So the concentrates for Red Chris mine, which is a copper porphyry mine, and then the Brucejack mine, those both ship concentrates out of the port of Stewart. So you've got kind of all those three major pieces to a mine construction project. In addition to that, you've got two mills. You've got the Brucejack mill to the north of you, that's a gravity flotation mill, and then SCOT to the south, which is a cyanide leach program. And we actually have to drive by SCOT to get up to our site. So it's an area of more robust infrastructure than almost anywhere else in the Golden Triangle. Yeah, so the Scottie Gold Mine itself operated for about 3.5 years in the early 1980s. It was a high-grade mine. The cutoff grade for the mine was 10 grams a ton. And over the life of mine, it produced at an average grade of 16.2 grams a ton recovered grade. The head grade was in the order of 18 to 20 grams when the mine was up. So nice high-grade mine, vein-controlled mine underground. It was one of Don McLeod's first mines. But it started in the early 1980s. So to get that mine up and running, they took a $20 million facility with the Royal Bank of Canada, paying upwards of over 20% interest. During that period of mine operation for those 3.5 years, the gold price dropped. And it dropped from, say, 700 down to 300. And that debt just crushed that mine. So they actually shut down the mine due to economic conditions. They had about 2 years of production ahead of them in reserves when the mine shut down at over 10 grams a ton. The mine really didn't go anywhere for a long time into the mid-2000s. And then Bruce McLeod started drilling it again. It had about $600 an ounce gold price at the time. And he tried to expand on the main veins that he had already identified, and with that, made some discoveries, but gold was at par, and it just didn't make financial sense at the time because his main play was to put it down in the mill that exists down to the south, the Premier Mill. So we came in with a fresh kind of set of eyes. We did property scale exploration and looked for expansion around Scottie and these other sub-deposits, and that's when we found the Blueberry's contact zone. But the deposit at Scottie itself has a nice upside, because if you drop the cutoff grade of 10 grams down to 3 grams, get a nice mineralized halo around the existing ore body, and a lot of stuff that was considered waste back in the day is now considered ore. Yeah, so we're in the process of modeling all that data that we did this summer. So when we started this season, we had about 23,000 meters of drilling into Blueberry before we started this season. And then we put another about 17,000 meters into it. So almost doubled our data set for Blueberry. So we're in the process right now of, remodeling that data, kind of coming up with a new concept of what's going to happen with it. And then we're going to make the plan on what we're going to do with it as we get that model out and kind of show what kind of, internally, what do we have for a resource? What do we need to step out on? Where can we expand? Where do we need to really flush this thing out? So you'll see us kind of coming up with the exploration program over the next few months and releasing that to the public. Yeah, I think following SCOT and their continuation towards production is going to be a nice catalyst for the area, and particularly for us. I mean, they're a mine that's stated that they're going to focus on a hub and spoke model. They need a lot of ore to come in and feed that, it's somewhat oversized mill for their needs. I think that's going to be a big catalyst for the area for us, and then the overall increasing gold prices speaks very well for the industry that we're in and the target that we're going after, such high grades. It feeds well into an environment like that.